On September 18th, 2022, police were called about a daughter refusing to leave her father's car.
Okay. Why isn't she getting out?
I don't know. She's got a lot of problems in life and can't seem to solve them. So I offered.
This dad is fed up. This dad, remember the episode of Wizards of the Place where they're getting Alex and the little burger, right? She burped in their face. Yeah, don't do that though. This dad is a fed up dad. Yeah, this dad is a fed up dad.
Get my car back, please.
Why isn't she getting out?
I don't know. She's got a lot of problems in life and can't seem to solve them. So I offered to give her a ride, and now
this is my dad, and I think he's I don't know exactly what's going on, but he has the key to the car, so I'm just waiting on him to get out of the building.
You're waiting on him to what?
To get out of the building, to come drive the car.
Well, he's out of the building. Sorry, what? Is this your dad? I'm waiting for him to get out of the building. Okay.
He just parked us here, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you know he doesn't have to drive you anywhere. But it's his car. He doesn't have to take you anywhere if he doesn't want to.
I understand. Well, he already took me here, so I'm in the car. I'd like to, go back to my house whenever he's ready, basically. So I'm just sitting in the car.
Okay, but do you realize that if he doesn't want to take you, you have to get out because it's his car, it's his property?
I don't think so. I think
no,
because
I'm letting you know that that's how that works.
Okay, well, I'm going to be sitting here. So, whenever
Where'd they go? What is this? I don't know what that is.
he's ready.
But he doesn't want to drive. You don't want to drive her home?
no, I do not.
I think he might be having some sort of like early dementia or something, but he is not acting like himself. We were just going to go to Starbucks, and then he said that he had to go and I can't.
Blizz on the details. I know, I care about, I was like, where did they go eat? Early dementia? Yeah, it's her dad. Oh, I do not.
Remember he said he needed to take a package somewhere?
She had me bring her down here. I got her a couple of gift cards because she doesn't have a job.
He did. He just got me a gift card.
She's supposed to be in a rehab facility, but somehow managed to get kicked out of it and showed up back at the apartment. So
He aired your entire shit out there. He aired your entire shit out there. How you feel? How you feel that he aired your entire shit out there? He said, I got you some gift cards because, like, you don't have a job. Also, you got kicked out of the rehab facility. You got your shit aired. Way too much information to tell someone. I know. But, like, I don't know. It's an officer, so... Jesus.
I felt sorry for her. My mistake. Gave her more money. Gave her more things to do. Took her here so she could get food.
Yeah, this dad is fed up. This has happened 4 times at least. This happened 4 times. I would say 3 times, but I felt like the 3rd time he was like, no. This will never happen again, but then it will happen 1 more time. This is the 4th time. This is the 4th time this has happened.
Did she not get food? She refused to get out of the car, and now she refuses to get out of it at all.
I'm just trying to spend the day with him.
Sorry,
or
Alex,
like
I know this is crazy.
go out
Trying to
and run
spend the
errands.
day
We're
with
just
him.
trying to run errands.
You said she was evicted from the apartment. Does she not? So that's not where she lives anymore.
I still live there.
She is in the
The
process
viewers of the
eviction. I
Blizzard
don't
channel
think they
are
got a final
100%
order for
wrong.
it yet.
Okay.
They are liars. They are scammers. They are
KM! Thank you so much for the 14 months, gamer. I really appreciate you.
She can still be there. But
He doesn't really want it either. Where I live normally. I'm not trying to live in this car. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but you're not trying to get out of this car.
Correct,
Which right
not
now
right
you're breaking
now.
the law because it's not your car. So you're trespassing.
So I go on Ubers. I go
Okay.
on Ubers
With
or
the permission of the person. He does not want you in his car. You're trespassing in
no,
his
I'm not.
Okay, so
Dude, to have the power for an officer to say, so you're trespassing, and then I go, no, I'm not. That's gonna be a no for me, dog. That's gonna be a no for me. I don't think so. Ugh. Hate to be that guy, but I just don't think I am. What a queen, Louis. Louis, it gets worse though.
we can play this game, but you're gonna get arrested. I mean, that's literally how it's gonna be, or you could just step out of the car. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but I'm trying to explain something to you, and you're not really willing to listen.
You explained it to me, but I would like to shut my door now.
I'm not doing that.
I understand what you would like to do, but here's what you're not gonna do.
It's not your door. It's not your car.
Okay, I'll just ignore that then.
Just get out, Alex. You're making a show
His
out
door?
of this.
I'm not trying to.
Ridiculous.
I'm not trying to make a show out of it. It's just like, it's frustrating.
You see the problem. I didn't want to touch her at this point.
What's frustrating
No, I
about it?
understand. I mean, it's definitely your car, and you want her out of the car. Can you run the tag, please?
Thanks for the
She
follow.
agreed to do it. She's had long
64, 6528.
Girl. This bad behavior, and it's my fault. I enabled one more time.
Dad, wait, hold on. Don't beat yourself up though, Dad. Okay, look, you had faith. You had faith and you acted on faith. Okay, it happens. Also, like, it's difficult. It's difficult. Like, you have a child struggling with addiction. Like, that's a difficult thing to try to help. You're not a therapist, but also maybe you should also go to therapy too, Dad, because I can't have you out here beating yourself up too. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Dad.
It's not your car. If you want you out, you're trespassing. You gotta get out.
Well, I think there's a misunderstanding. I think something's going on with my dad because he's not acting like himself.
No, he's acting pretty normal to
No,
me.
I think he's acting like
L
he's
negative on a
got a problem.
2021 blue Toyota four-door registered to Jacksonville.
Maybe.
Also, the fact that she went straight into, I think my dad's having dementia. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you caught it. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what she was about to say. Because what she was about to say was not dementia. Not dementia. Great TikTok about this. KM, can you send that to a mob? Because I have links blocked. I don't know if y'all caught that. Let me see if I can find it. We're gonna go back.
I don't know exactly what's the building.
You're waiting on him to what?
To get out of the building to come drive the car. He just parked us here, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you know he doesn't have to drive you anywhere. But it's his car. He doesn't have to take you anywhere if he doesn't want to.
I understand. Well, he already took me here, so.
And what I'm about to say, what I think she was about to say, could be a reach on me. It could be a reach on my part. But I was like, no.
I'm in the car. I'd like to, go back to my house. So I think
No,
because
yeah,
I'm parked.
I'm letting you know that that's how that works.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be sitting here. So, whenever he's ready.
But he doesn't want to drive. You don't want to drive her home?
No, I do not.
I think he might be having some sort of
This is-
early dementia.
That's so what she was not gonna say early dementia. The first, from what I heard, was which could easily be turned to AU. And yeah, that's what I was like, oh, what were you about to say? Actually? Oh no, she did, but this could be me being a reach. It could be Alzheimer's. It could be Alzheimer's. So I don't know. It could be Alzheimer's. That's why I was like, were you about to say autism, dude? Are you sure? It fits too. Okay. Thank you. There we go.
Pull over, park together.
We're not doing it.
Okay,
Fine,
I got
I'm
this.
not stepping out. And I feel like usually you ask people not to step out of the car.
Why won't you get out? Why don't you want to get out?
It's on principle at this point.
But you understand.
Wait,
that
what's
probably
on
gonna end up going to
principle?
jail then, right?
You do know that usually, like, if you pulled me over on a highway, we'd both have to pull over, park together.
We're not doing
And
that.
I would not be allowed out of my vehicle, in fact. You'd say, roll down the window and please present your papers to me. That's what you would say. And I would give
But
you
I
that
may.
information
Sometimes
and
I also
stay in
ask
the
a lot
car
of people
while-
out of the car too.
Okay, well, this isn't...
But your dad wants you out of the car.
When do you realize you're not winning it? Sorry. My brain thinks in strategy sometimes. But like, when in the conversation that you are having do you realize I'm not winning this? I'm not winning this. I thought she was gonna say onset dementia. Oh, okay. Or onset dementia. Okay, chat. Okay. As an autistic Australian, I hope she was saying Alzheimer's. That's fair. We don't know. We don't know what she was gonna say. We don't. Double down. Always double down. Do not do more. Stop. Don't double down. I'm trying to picture ahead and cannot see where this is going other than cops physically removing her. I don't. Alzheimer's or onset dementia. I don't know, chat. I don't know. I think she is the girl from Umbrella, from the
What
Umbrella
up? I'm
Academy.
Jared. I'm
I don't think I've
19,
seen
and
that,
I never fucking
actually.
learned how to read.
Stairs is especially heinous. Heinous-tism.
Doesn't feel like
I think he's having in
a very
Australia.
serious situation. Like, and it doesn't feel like we're bothering anyone.
So do you want to press charges for trespassing?
I do.
I mean, you can't just press charges like that.
You can.
So you can. So you can. Oh, girl, you walked in not knowing your rights. Like, that's the thing. You walked in not knowing your rights. And then, oh no, because he can't do that when they're there. Oh, girl's trying to gaslight. She's not doing a good job of gaslighting. As someone who's gaslit before, she's not doing a good job of it. Oh, you're so, oh.
You want to get out of the car or not?
Don't you guys have anything better to do today?
Actually,
Girl.
they don't. They don't have anything else better to do.
I actually do.
Yeah, like, so I don't know
So
what
we
you
would
guys
really
are
like
up
for
to.
you to
Why
get
don't
out
you
so
drive
we don't
around in
have
your
to.
cars?
I don't want to take a ride to the jail.
I would love to.
I would hate that.
You know what? I love riding around places. I love going on errands. I love driving. Love all of it.
This is going to be one of those situations on when you go down to the jail. People are like, "What are you in for?" And you say, "Because I wouldn't get out of the car." People are going to be,
Bruh, ACAB, they are eating her up though. They're like, hey, what are you in for? Murder? No, I wouldn't leave a car. Oh. Okay.
like, "That's a stupid reason to go to jail." I mean, really, there's really not a really good reason to go to jail, but that's really stupid.
Well, it's more stupid of you guys because it's just a lot of paperwork and a
We
lot of
don't want
trouble.
to be here, but we're public servants. We've been called here.
You're not a servant.
We've been summoned here. So we're here to solve a problem.
I think they are public
Do you have a
servants.
payroll?
The problem is that you're in the car. It's to solve the problem.
I don't think there's not a solution. There isn't a solution.
The solution is that you step out, either stand over here, you could sit, there's a bench over here, there's a bench there, there's a bench over there. Okay, yeah, go ahead and stand out of the car.
No, I stepped out. It's fine. Please allow me to.
No, you're
Shut
not
my
closing
door.
the door, so...
I don't want to shut it on you. I don't want to, like...
I can promise you, you're not.
Please
gonna
stop
shut it on
touching this car because it's not your car.
me. It's not yours either.
Well, that's okay.
All right, you're going to end up...
No.
You're going to end up...
You are. Stop. Step on out. I'm just gonna pull you out. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna come out of the car. So do we have to make this harder? I don't want to.
Don't pull my arm out of its
Well, then
socket.
please step out.
Don't touch me.
We'll just get the statement. We're not in a hurry.
Don't touch me. Don't molest me. Please.
What's going to end up happening is... We're going to end up having to use force on you.
I would like to
Don't
press
want to do
charges
that.
for assault. And assault.
Girl.
Hold on. Fuck. She's also gonna be like, I want to press charges for sexual assault randomly. She's just pulling out things right now. She's pulling out things. That's just randomly gonna happen. I thought it would happen in the previous video, but I realized it didn't happen in the previous video. It happens in this one. So, yeah.
Charge. I just was assaulted.
wasn't.
Battery.
So,
I want to press charges for battery.
you don't get that. It's
I
lawful.
want to press charges.
It's a lawful.
I would like to press charges.
You don't get to.
I'm being held against my will.
Great, get out of the car.
Wait, she really thought she hold on, because that was kind of funny. That was I'm being held against my will. Okay, no, you can leave. No, the door's open. You can leave actually. You're not being held against like your will. You can leave. You can walk away right now.
Held against my will. Please leave.
No. So
I don't think she knows
these are
what
the
that means.
options. You can get out of the car. You can leave on your own accord. You can walk away, or you're going to end up going with us.
Get a judge or something. Like I don't know what else to tell you.
How important do you think you are to get a judge? How important? Interesting.
Get a judge and a jury and take me to trial. Like I don't really understand.
What?
So,
Mail me some papers. I mean I don't know. Like
would you like to be married?
Dude, get out of this
whatever the
man's
charges
car.
are, like,
Get out of
let
your
me know.
dad's car.
Are you gonna give me a ticket? Why don't you just give me a ticket?
Well, we could give you, but you have to get out of the car. That's the problem. So the main
Or a
problem-
verbal warning? Be like, hey, please don't sit in people's cars again if they don't want you in them.
So that
Yeah, but then you have to get out the car.
No, you didn't. But anyway, My dad is obviously like demented, and he's got like an issue that I can't diagnose, right? I don't know what to do because he's getting older. Yes, in fact, we live at the same building.
Okay.
I am his caretaker. So
You're his caretaker?
yes, I am.
Okay.
And you know what?
And how do you care for him?
I take care of him.
How?
I take care of him.
You work?
Yes, I do. I work a lot. I do things. It doesn't.
Dude, this is me explaining what I do to people who don't know content creation, man. I'm not joking. I deadass be going. Yeah, I work a lot. Like, I do. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like, yeah, I work a lot. I do things and stuff, you know? Sorry, I'm crying because wow, that was great. I'm having a full body cringe. I do things. I do. The face, pettiest and childish groups. I'd expect. What do you do? My best, honestly. Be explaining what I did during my shift. I did a lot. I worked a lot. I do things. Sorry, I have to go back for that one because that's good. That was a good moment.
I am. And you know what?
And how do you care for him?
I take care of him.
How?
I take care of him.
You work?
Yes, I do. I work a lot. I do things. It doesn't matter. What do you do?
For some odd reason, that gave me Debbie Ryan energy during like an interview, which is like, it sucks to be still. Like it gave me that energy for some reason. I don't know why. What do you do?
A lot like my brother used to sound before he burned my mom's house down.
What do you do? You just like police?
Hey, don't trauma dump, officer. This isn't about you. Don't trauma dump. I didn't like that one. Anyways.
Stuff? What is that? What is policing?
That is literally my job. I'm a supervisor. But here's the issue. Your father is
I feel like I lived a lot of lives.
He's willing to press charges. Therefore, you're going to end up going with us because you're refusing to get out of the car. I literally cannot be nicer to you.
It's like, what if you were in my doorway at my house and like you were holding...
Okay, but like this isn't your house. This is your parents' house. And they're on the lease. They're on the lease and they're telling you to get out because you're not on the lease. You're not obeying what they're saying in their house. And like it could be unorthodox what they're asking, but like they still have they still have the hands over the house here. Let's hear her out. Slappers, no. I'm ending the stream.
Different scenario, different rules, different times, different things. Okay? This isn't your car.
Is that your street?
It's part of the city.
Is that your pavement?
It's the city's.
Or is just that your stone?
It's the city's.
Okay,
So
the city. Okay, and the brick. Who?
She really thinks she's eating, chat. She thinks she's eating. Oh, is that your street? You own this street? Is that your stone? Like she's not consuming. She's not doing the thing. Let her cook. I'm not letting her cook. I'm not letting her anywhere near the kitchen. She's been banned from the kitchen.
Runs the city. Who owns the pavement? I want to talk to whoever owns the road.
Who do you think that would be?
I don't know. I think you would have to try to get in contact with them or something.
I don't have to do anything.
I don't know. Talk
But
to
she
the bank
does
that
things.
rents out that pavement.
I also do things.
I don't know what to tell you. Call someone. But it'd be really cool if you would just let me shut the door. I'm not a dog dying in a hot car, okay?
No one's saying you are.
Alex Alexander, what do you go by?
What am I called?
Yeah, what do you go by? Do you like to be called Alex Alexander?
I don't like to be called at all.
You know what?
I don't like to be called
Same.
at all.
Okay.
Don't call me.
What is your name?
Text me.
Why do you need to know that?
All right, Alexandria. I'm again going to politely ask you to get out of the car.
I would tell you my name if I wanted to.
Things are going to go not your way in a minute. And I would prefer them not go down that way. Yeah, but they're going to get worse.
That way.
They're gonna get worse.
I didn't get what she's cooking, but I think I'll have
Because what's
sleep
gonna end up
instead.
happening is you're gonna get forcefully taken out of the car, and I don't want to do that. Because I don't want us to get hurt, and I don't want you to get hurt. So I really would like you to get out of the car so that we don't have to force you to get out of the car, or that force doesn't have to be used.
Defiance.
That's your choice.
Defiance.
How we get here? Where am I? How did we get here? Huh. Interesting.
So you understand the risk that you're taking with this, right? Okay.
Sorry, are you bored?
No. You're insulting me. What are you doing?
Right.
Wait, get her Starbucks gift card.
I'm not going to. Why?
Put your hands behind
Get her
your
Starbucks
back.
gift
You're
card.
arrest.
Give it back to her dad.
No.
You're gonna be
I'm
placed
not under arrest.
You
I'm
are.
under cardiac arrest.
Girl, you are not under cardiac arrest. Cut it. Just cut it. Fucking cut it. You're shitting me. You are not under cardiac arrest. Where's the nurses at in my chat? Kiriko. She under cardiac arrest? Can you tell from that? Because I've seen cardiac arrest. This ain't it. Also, I think it's really funny when they said you're under arrest. She said, "No, I'm not." The power she has. It's great.
No.
You're placed under arrest for trespassing and resisting.
You can't do that.
You can.
No, you're not going to. You're not going to.
Cute,
Stop.
cute dual color
Stop.
jeans.
I wish we
though.
didn't have to.
Stop.
I wish we didn't have
Stop.
to. We tried to work it out with you.
Wait, get her
Stop.
Starbucks gift card.
For whatever reason, you decided
Stop.
not to.
Stop policing me.
Bye, Alex.
I'm sorry that this is the way that it had to go.
This is not the law. This isn't lawful. Alright. I'm not resisting. No, stop searching me. Stop touching me. I have to search you. You're molesting me. You're sexually assaulting me.
Stop.
You are sexually assaulting me. No.
She's not.
Yes, she
No, she's
is.
not.
Dad, help me. Please help me. Please help me.
Stop.
Get off me.
Stop.
Get off me.
Stop.
Okay, now you're going to jail for assaulting officer again. Not again, sorry. On top of this trespassing charge.
Resisting.
Now you're getting a felony.
You have violated the
Get
law.
off me. Stop touching me.
Stop resisting.
Stop touching me.
Stop resisting.
Stop touching me. He's mentally ill.
And so am I. But I'm not going to jail, okay?
Stop touching me. Oh, my arm.
Sit in the
Stop
car.
it.
Sit in the car.
Blizz, be nice to her. She cardiac arrested. Shut up.
Stop it. Can you please pick up your knife and sit in the car? I don't want to have to help you.
I got it. Sorry.
Get off me! Stop touching me!
Close the door.
I can't.
Girlie, you gave up. Girlie, you gave up. You were right there at the finish line, girlie. You gave up. You gave up. God damn it. She just said fuck it. You gave up. That's unfair. Look how close she was.
Touching me!
Close the door.
She was so close.
I'm sorry. She may be under the influence. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Kick you too?
Yes.
Alright. So we're gonna have 2 charges of that. Resisting.
Yeah, because she shoved the
You try to
officer
hurt us
while getting
again,
arrested.
You're
That
either
counts
end
as
up being
assault.
tased.
Or resisting arrest. But they might just do both.
Okay. Well, you
You guys
kicked both
actually
of them.
assaulted me.
You kicked both of them.
You grabbed me and then she touched my breast for
here's
no
the-
reason.
what?
So I don't really
I
know.
want you to
So
take a
you
deep
touched
breath.
me inappropriately as well on my skin.
Take
You know
a
that you don't
deep
need
breath.
to contact me like that. I was
Take
in
a
handcuffs
deep
already.
breath and listen to what I'm
My
telling
hands
you.
were behind my back. So
Your
no,
hands-
you shouldn't have searched me like that, and I should
didn't
have gotten
search
searched privately. First of all,
I
you
didn't
should
search
have
Listen to
not
what
been
I'm
out
telling
here,
you,
not
okay?
with her and doing it.
Here's the
Second,
thing.
and you're embarrassing me
We're
in
gonna
public.
open the door.
You're actually kind of.
When do you give up? Like when do you give up? Cause like how are you not tired? Cause I am. I'm tired personally. When do you give up? I don't get it.
It's libel. It's a lot of libel.
We're going to open the door. Okay.
Who's
You're gonna get
liable?
Put back in handcuffs. If
He
you
sounds
fight
cool.
us,
Do you have a liability policy? Like, do you guys have some sort of commercial health
do
insurance?
not fight us, okay?
Wait, commercial health insurance?
What are you so scared of? I don't want to give back my. I want them. I don't want to. No, don't touch me. See? You're touching me again. Stop it. Open the door for me. Stop touching.
Thanks for the sub, Tiger. I'm not confused at you. I'm confused at what's going on right now. Thanks for the 12 months. I really appreciate it.
Hands behind your back, please. I don't want to. No, what are you doing now? No, same thing you were doing before. You're just going back and forth. Okay? You're under arrest. Miranda rights. Miranda rights? No. If you resist,
You are resisting.
I'm resisting.
Yes, you are. So stop. You've already got battery on LEO. Stop.
On a Leo?
Yes.
On an August birthday? On a Leo?
Where are we? Where are we? That's what did he just say?
On LEO. Stop.
On a Leo?
Yes.
What is he saying? You got battery on a what? Because I've never heard that before. I'm guessing Alejo? No. I just screamed. Battery on a Leo? As a Leo, I just own her. Law enforcement officer. Oh, that's what Leo stands for. Law enforcement officer. I didn't even know that. What the hell? When have we started using acronyms for this?
Hi.
Hi, Abby's. I'm so confused. I was like, zodiac sign. Yeah, battery. You know what? Leos, your days are numbered. My bad.
So stop. You've already got battery on LEO. Stop.
On a Leo?
Yes.
On an August birthday? On a Leo? No. Get off me. I don't want to be handcuffed. I don't want to be tied down. Stop it.
Nobody really does want that.
You're constricting me. I can't breathe.
Hey,
You're
the cop's a Leo. You're going to jail. I'm gonna be honest with you.
constricting me. You're not doing anything. You're hurting me. You are physically hurting me right now. My chest hurts, my head hurts, my hands hurt, my wrist hurts. I know it hurts. And my shoulder blades, and my shoulders, and my back.
Child, my whole body hurts. My whole body hurts. No. Dude, I be having pain in my body. So like I feel you on this one.
Which is where all my organs are, by the way, so thank you. You're not cooperating. You are not cooperative. We are not a co-op. We are not a co-op. We are not a corporation. We are not a co-op. You're not a cop.
Get him.
You're a robber. You're stealing.
Dude, I want to monologue this. I really do. I want to monologue this because this is actually really beautiful. This is actually really beautiful. This is bars. I want to make this a thing. I love this. Shit, I might make this a YouTube video. This is good. This is some good shit.
Me. You're kidnapping me. You're abducting me. Ow, you're hurting me.
Where did we go?
No, stop doing it.
Have a seat.
You're not a cop. You're a robber.
Sit back. Sit back.
You just sit down. None of this would happen. Get off me! You're creepy as you creeper!
She tried to bite you, by the way.
I know.
Pervert, get me out of
sit
here!
down?
Get
You
me
can put the
out
seatbelt
of
on
here!
you?
Get me out! Let me out!
It's not happening, so.
Open the door! Open the door! Open it!
Can I go?
Sebi, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. Me when I see a creeper in Minecraft. You're a creeper. Yeah. I mean, that's me when I do be seeing a creeper in Minecraft. To the wall.
Bring me to the hospital right now.
I can't breathe. I'm too hot. I can't breathe.
Well, I mean, I think it's because it's what, September 18th, 2022. It's still pretty hot. I feel like global warming was still a thing. Is still a thing, so. You also did a lot of movement there, so your body's probably just catching up.
I'm gonna have a seizure. I just turned the AC up for you, okay? You gotta give it a second. I just turned off the AC. You'll be able to get some air in a couple seconds, okay?
I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Hi, as someone who's had, as someone, why do I look short? God damn it. As someone who's had an aneurysm, 2 to be exact. No, you're not. That's it. No, you're not.
I don't know what that means. Take me to the hospital.
I feel like you should know what an aneurysm means. Hold on. Now I'm concerned. Okay. You know what? That's a battle for another day. But maybe you should educate yourself on that later. Thanks.
Take me to the ER. To the ED. Take me for medical clearance. You'll get medical clearance at the jail. No, they don't medically clear you. Oh, they do. No, they don't. Absolutely. No, they do not. They do an intake form. That's not the same. I need a physical exam. Who's the elected person in this jurisdiction? Take me to them.
Why?
I don't even know that this is your jurisdiction. I don't know who you are. You're kidnapping me. Give me a ride. Give me a ride home. Turn the car around. Reverse.
I'm sorry, this isn't funny. But this is like, when do you, like, stop? When do you... This left me more confused than anything. Like, when do you stop?